Okay, this video is going to be about how to deploy your web-enabled app. In a previous video, a different video entitled How to Web-Enable Your Multi-dll app, we went ahead and did the extremely simple steps of simply adding the H5 Web Global extension to each of our apps that comprise our solution. And then we simply did a build. We rebuilt everything after applying the extension to all of them. And so now we're ready to deploy. So the process of web enabling so far has been absolutely as simple as it gets, adding global extension template. And you're going to see that deploying is equally simple. So let's see, we've got a few slides we can go through. There's only a few steps to get your app web enabled. One is to copy all the binaries from your build folder into a folder under the App Broker exec folder. A short folder name is useful because it does become part of the URL used to access your web app. So you need to create a folder and then copy the binaries. 3, in our case, for this example, we're going to need to copy the data files, the TPS files, because there is no path in this application, so it expects, the executable expects to find the data files in the same folder from which it's being run. And when your web app is accessed, that will be the case where it will need to be local. If you most likely already have a path to your data files that you set at startup, then you can skip this step completely. If your app uses any external images that aren't linked in as resources into your binaries, then you're going to want to make a copy of those and put them under the exec your app name, your folder name as well. And ICO files. Those need to be deployed into the public folder, but preferably you're going to want to convert those to PNG format. And we have a program that will automatically do that you will have, and it just simply converts the existing ICO to a PNG. If you want to use that, that's a good way to get away from ICO files for your web app, because not all browsers support them. And our final step is we need to copy the global JS file that's generated by the templates into the public folder underneath App Broker. And that's really it. It's that simple. So let's go ahead and see if we can't get that going. So I've got these already pre-selected. Here's all of my binaries right there because I'm sorted by type. So we'll copy those. I created a folder called DLT under exec. Okay, so there's the binaries. And then in our case, for this example, we need these TPS files. And let's see if we have any image files. We do have a couple image files, a few of them that we're going to copy over. And finally, we're going to need to copy our JavaScript file. Now in this case, although the JavaScript shared code is generated for every app, you need only copy the one that's associated with your executable. Let's bring that over, and again that goes into the public folder. I guess I previously copied that. And that's it. At this point, we're ready to run our application. So in order to access it, the syntax is, I'm running on port 80 in my case, so I can simply use localhost. If you are using a different port number, you just put a colon in the port number right after localhost. Of course, you could use the full IP number, the If you're using it on a remote machine, obviously that's what you would be doing. For development purposes, you most likely get away with just using localhost. So it's localhost, the exec folder. I created a folder called DLT. The name of the executable is DLL tutor. And now, this is the only not unusual, but what you need to do is type .exe.0. That last digit is 0. And that should do it. And sure enough, it's up and running. Now, I should mention at this point, if the application didn't start immediately, the first thing that you should do would be to go into the folder where you deployed to and try to run it as a desktop app. Because by doing that, in fact, I already knew this was going to run, but if I wasn't sure I'd copied everything, if I was just starting out, then surely the first thing I would have done after copying it would be to run the executable as a desktop app. Because if it fails there, the error messages back from the OS will be a lot easier to decipher any type of failure than when running it under the browser. Okay, so we have our customers file. This is a navigation button automatically put into your app by the H5 skeletons. Products file. And this is what you get from doing nothing. This literally would have been just a couple minutes of effort, literally, to do this. Now, everything you see before you is responsive. So if I activate the Chrome development environment, I can resize it, and you'll see the things begin to resize. We can go up here and we can choose to emulate, say, an iPhone 6, and you'll see that the screen reconfigured itself. We'll go into the customers view file, and you can see that we can change key order just as you could in your desktop application. And it's very responsive. If we were to look at, and we'll do this in a separate video, but we could look at the network activity, and you'll see that what comes across the wire is very small. So here we have it. We've got a totally responsive version of our application running with just a few minutes of work. Now that's scaled down to 56%. That's why it looks so tiny. We could bring this out and give it a fighting chance to, it's at 56. We could push it a little bit, 75. We can change the orientation, so that would be another feature that you get automatically. And this is a great way to preview your applications and see them as your end user would see them. So I think that'll conclude this video. We have a whole lot of other videos that we're developing that show you how to tweak and customize, but I hope that by watching these 4 videos you have a good enough feel for the technology so that you can go ahead and just start to work with it immediately in your free time or as a dedicated new product that you can, making your product responsive and available over the web on any device. Okay, well, we'll see you in the next video.